This is a comment on one of my videos explaining the story behind the Southern California wildfires, and the commenter says controlled burns happen in forested areas, not along PCH and in neighborhoods. This is not true. This is not true. The PCH, for those of you who don't know, is the Pacific Coast Highway. That is the major highway that goes through the Pacific Palisades. So that's one of the areas that was affected by the fires in Southern California. That's what this commenter is referring to. Not true. I don't live in Southern California. It's been a while since I've lived down there, but I can say, because I have borne firsthand witness to it many times, that in Northern California they do controlled burns along the highway. I've seen it. I've seen it, I don't know, 10 times probably. My guess would be that, as I referenced in my last video, the circumstances, the conditions that you need in order to do controlled burns are very narrow. So you need cool weather, you need no wind, you need certain moisture content. There's conditions that you need on the ground in order to be able to do a controlled burn. And my guess would be that those conditions are less frequent in Southern California than they are in Northern California. So Southern Californians may have fewer opportunities for controlled burns because of how hot it is down there and how dry, but they would absolutely do them. Yeah, they do them up here all the time. So the fact that it's next to a highway doesn't mean that you can't do a controlled burn. Now, within a neighborhood, are you likely to do a controlled burn? Probably not, because in a neighborhood, you should just be clearing brush. You should be doing defensible space. That's what you're working towards in a neighborhood. So the goals are a little bit different in a neighborhood than they are in a forested area, a rural area, a hillside, etc. Like in your neighborhood, it's not that you don't want brush, it's not that you don't want growth, it's that you want to thin it. You want to make sure that there's a space between that brush and your house so that you give the firefighters a fighting chance, and you want to take those steps to make sure that the materials you're building with are fire resistant, and that you are planting in ways that is fire resistant. That you're clearing things that are hazardous, like eucalyptus trees, things like that. So the methods that you're using in a neighborhood are going to be less, but they 110% absolutely, if the conditions were right, would do a controlled burn along the PCH. So that's just not true.